Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the qualifying watch-along for the United States Grand Prix, the 2024 United States Grand Prix. Yes, we're in 2024. Amazing. How are we all doing this Saturday evening? Great start, Sean. Forgot to unmute the mic and was talking to myself for about a minute, so there you go. Hope you're having a good weekend. Looking forward to this one very much. And the sprint today, by the way, if you've not seen it, spoiler alert. You've already seen the result at the bottom of the screen, so sorry, but spoiler alert. Actually pretty damn good. Really enjoyable race this morning or this afternoon, this evening, wherever we are. Bit of a surprise result, actually. I must admit, Max Verstappen taking the win. We'll go through that shortly. Not so much surprise given that he started in first position, but more because of the way the season has kind of turned. It looked very much more like classic Red Bull of the last year, really, if you know what I mean by that. So, yeah, really looking forward to this qualifying session. He surprised yesterday with P1 for me. I knew Red Bull were expected to be good here, but didn't expect them to be that good and got the win as well. So, could things be swinging? That's a big question. It's all over the place this season. Nobody knows where anybody is. And I said in the preview, we want that. We don't want these predictable weekends. We want to know nothing coming into a weekend except there's 20 drivers and 20 cars, 10 teams. That's all we need to know. Do some shout outs quickly. Very quickly as well, actually. I've just been messing about with Streamlabs. We switched the channel over to a brand account this week or last week, and nothing seems to want to sync up with Streamlabs. So there won't be any pop-ups possibly for any potential super chats or subs, so I can't do shout-outs today, so I'm sorry about that. But please do subscribe anyway, and I'll try and do some shout-outs tomorrow when I get there, because I'm setting up my new PC, so hopefully be able to sort all that then at the same time. Hey to Sam. It feels like it's been a while, actually, Sam. Good to see you again. Marta's here. Hey, Marta. Yes, a late one. Nick the Greek. There you go. Hope you're all right, mate. Lee, Pascal's here, our resident Sauber fan. Dell as well. Hey, Dell. Hope you're doing all right, mate. Jack's here too, with his toothbrush in his pants. Kevin was here earlier, and Lee as well. So hope you're all doing well this fine evening and having a good weekend so far. So new layouts as well. We've tweaked them a bit. So a few of you said you preferred the black with the green rather than the bluey colour. So we went with the black. So there you go. We do listen. Should we go over the sprint result very, very quickly then, before we get into any other talking points? Lots going on around F1, as you've probably noticed and probably sick of hearing about already this week and whatnot. But Max Verstappen did win the sprint this evening. 8 points for him today. Finished 3.8 seconds clear of Carlos Sainz, who took second place on the final lap after Lando Norris locked up at turn 1. A lot of pressure on him. Lucky actually not to do that to both Ferraris, Lando taking P3. A bit of a moment on the final lap with Charles Leclerc, coming through the twisty stuff before that amazing triple right-hander, whatever you want to call it. Stewart's had a look at it. It was, if you saw it, you'll know what I mean. It was one of those sort of borderline ones. He's gone to defend, but it is into a braking zone. But you're braking and turning at the same point in that corner, so you've got to move. You can't just keep going straight on. So one of those that if the stewards had given him a penalty, I wouldn't have been overly shocked. And if they didn't give him one, which they didn't, then I'm not overly shocked. It was aggressive, but I think we want to see aggression, so that's fine. Charles Leclerc, P4. George Russell, P5. Thought he was going to challenge for a podium today, but just fell away. Just the car didn't have the race pace in the sprint. 15.7 seconds is a big gap in the sprint, isn't it? Lewis Hamilton in 6th place, kind of on his own a little bit for much of the sprint. Kevin Magnussen called it in the preview. P7 and a couple of points for Haas, and a point as well for Nico Hulkenberg in 8th. A massive 3 points that for Haas, because that moves them ahead of RB in the Constructors' Championship. And it's just amazing from Haas. It's such a huge deal that for them. A lot of money involved, and hopefully they can hang on to that. No offence to RB, of course, but it'd be good to see Haas finish P6 and their highest finish for what seems like an eternity, I'm sure, in the championship. Sergio Perez, 9th. Yeah, Oscar Piastri P10. Yuki Tsunoda, he got a penalty, by the way. Did Oscar Piastri 5-second time penalty? So, but he wasn't going to be scoring points anyway, really. So, Yuki Tsunoda 11th in the thick of it. Franco Colapinto 12th. Lance Stroll in 13th. Pierre Gasly 14th. Esteban was 15th. Liam Lawson on sprint debut. Was it sprint debut? Did Qatar sprint, didn't he? Maybe not so. Second sprint race then, maybe. I don't know. 16th place for RB. 17th for Alex Albon. 18th for Fernando Alonso, a couple of offs actually early on in the sprint. 19th for Zhou Guanyu and 20th for Valtteri Bottas. I was just watching Ted's notebook just to see if I missed anything pivotal other than the talk of maybe Red Bull being back. He said that he thinks, looking at pace so far, Aston Martin are the 9th fastest team this weekend. What has happened to them? I know they've been in decline pretty much all season, but 9th fastest? That's, Fernando's going to hope that Adrian Newey can get a little bit earlier if he can. I'd imagine. Yeah, so that was your sprint race. Really enjoyable. One of the better sprints we've seen for sure. And it wasn't a case of cars out of position making it interesting. It just was genuinely really close between 4 teams. And I absolutely love that. We all enjoy it. And that's scrapping with the Ferraris as well early on. As a Ferrari fan, squeaky bum time, but I'd also kind of raise the point that maybe without that scrapping, and if they've worked together, they might have been able to both get Lando rather than leaving it so late, maybe. But yes, very, very good sprint, and hopefully Brazil in a couple of weeks will be just as exciting. So yes, if you've got any questions, by the way, throw them in chat. I will answer some questions tonight. I'm not going to go into all the technical stuff around the Red Bull stuff because... I mean, we could discuss it if you want to, but I'm not great on the technical stuff anyway, but also I'm kind of a bit like hearing about Daniel Ricciardo, kind of sick of hearing about it this weekend. It's just sort of constantly going around. I can look into it if you want to. We'll do some reading or whatever, but I think you've probably heard enough on TV. But the latest from the FIA, just to kind of make the point, is that they feel they can draw a line under it now. There'll be no further investigations, no deeper investigations, and Zach Brown is asking for more investigations, as you would if it's a title rival that's got the question mark over them, but it looks like nothing's going to come of it, so there you go. It's however you want to look at it. The latest from Zach Brown coming out saying that smells to me a little bit of shit, we're in trouble this weekend, let's deflect, if I'm being honest. I might be wrong, it might be mind games or whatever, or they might genuinely be myth, but yeah, it's a bit of a storm in a teacup, I think, and certain people seem to want to really blow it up, but there you go. Who wins the Constructors if Red Bull is back, says Moray. That is a cracking question, actually. McLaren. McLaren, all day long. You need, whether Red Bull are back or not is kind of irrelevant in a way. Max Verstappen might be, but Sergio Perez clearly isn't. I mean, ninth place, he was battling with Tsunoda today. Very hard, by the way. Great stuff to watch that. I think Tsunoda making a point today. So if Perez isn't scoring and is fighting with Tsunoda down in 9th, 10th, 11th place, then they're not going to win the Constructors because he needs to be up there. So pressure on. Although a lot of noise at the moment about maybe Perez not being there next year, even though he thinks he will be. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I still think McLaren take the Constructors. Piastri's going to be back up there. No problem eventually. Is Zach Brown really concerned Red Bull might catch them? Says Nick. Not in the Constructors, no, but he'll want to be making sure they can win it by the margin, as much of a margin they can, if that makes sense. He'll want to put the pressure on. And he'll want to give Lando the best chance as well of winning the drivers. But the Constructors where it's at for McLaren. The drivers was always, I said it in videos, it was always a long shot. There were always a lot of ifs and buts. Lando had to win every sprint, win every race, and needed Max Verstappen to make mistakes. Max will make mistakes. There'll be lockups. They'll be running wide. There'll be errors in qualifying. It's not going to be perfect for Max between now and the end of the season, but it won't be perfect for Lando either. And I think that's the problem for the drivers. So Constructors, McLaren all the way. Max still the favourite, and if he wins tomorrow, I think a lot of you will probably agree that's probably game over. But you never know. One DNF swings it all, doesn't it? Swings it all. Imagine Valtteri finishes P23 in a 20-driver grid at the end of the year and gets dropped. Imagine that Valtteri finishes P23 in a 20-driver grid and keeps his seat. To me, that's the question, really. We'll talk about Audi another day. We've talked about them a lot over the last few months, but I mean, that is really the big seat, isn't it? Red Bull, maybe not. But if it is a change with Checo, then it's going to be Tsunoda or Lawson or somebody in their own pool. So not much excitement there. But the Sauber one, big question mark over what they're going to do. But Bottas, if that's the best option they've got, then they'll have to go with him. But nobody else seems to want it. So there you go. How is Danica Patrick back on our screen, says John Jones. I've watched no build-up this weekend. I can't. I'm sure she's wonderful, but there's a couple actually on Sky that are a bit like that, pundit-wise, and just, that's one, but yeah. Doubt Mick has a chance in hell, says Tony. Yeah, Mick seems to think he's in the mix. I think actually, to be fair, Mattia Binotto said he was, didn't he? So, there you go. Maybe it will happen. Maybe it will happen. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not getting into it, Marta. I'm not. I got told off last time, and it was like, you want to say that about a man, would you? It's like, I bloody would. I've got no problem saying about a man as well. She's just Dreadful. What are the blue things on the track map on Sky? No idea, Del. I didn't see, mate. I'll have a look for it if it pops up again. What was something else I want to talk about as well today? Yeah, the fastest lap point. I've done a poll. It kind of came out of nowhere earlier this week. They are dropping the fastest lap point from 2025 onwards. And there are a lot of things that we always talk about wanting to fix in Formula One, and that rarely comes up. So when it kind of appeared, I sort of went, really? That's a surprise. A pleasant one. I wasn't ever totally against the fastest lap point. I was surprised when they decided to bring it in. And I sort of questioned why, but it didn't bother me. It was just sort of there. And then they announced they're getting rid of it. And I'm not fussed either. But I kind of, in a way, I'm glad it's going, because I think as an idea, maybe it could have worked if maybe it was opened up to everybody, or they could have found a way to make it more interesting. But it just turned into an opportunity for a dominant driver to go from scoring 25 points to 26, or a driver in 5th place who had a 35-second lead to P6 to just go and stick softs on at the end and take an extra point. It just didn't mean anything. It didn't really make a big difference to much. So I'm not sad to see it go. Would have been fine if it stayed. It's not going to change my life, and I'm fine that it's gone. So I guess I'd have voted not fussed either way. But 45% of you say yes, you're pleased it's gone. 31% say no, and 24% say not fussed either way. So I'd probably click not fussed either way, really. But leaning towards, I like my points scored on a Sunday for finishing position rather than anything else. But let me know what you think. Let me know. Yeah, I'm not getting into it. I'm not doing it. Should Red Bull throw Tsunoda in the deep end next year at Red Bull? If he fails miserably, they could have an excuse to sack him. So nothing gained, nothing lost from Red Bull's standpoint, says CPB1. Hey, CPB1. I was thinking about this morning, about what I do in Red Bull's position. I kind of agree, nothing to lose. So why not just give it Tsunoda? Not to the end of the season or anything, just let Perez see this shit. The constructors is gone. I just don't see Red Bull turning it around. Whoever you put in that second car now. McLaren have got Norris and Piastri on form. They're going to pick up big points every weekend. I still think they've got enough there. So let it go. Let him see out the season. Give him a proper send-off, unlike the proper send-off they didn't give Daniel Ricciardo. Let him finish it, and then put Tsunoda in next year, and then have Isaac Hadjar and Liam Lawson in the car next year in the RB. Not the Red Bull, in the RB. That's what I'd do. Give Yuki a chance. You've given Daniel Ricciardo another chance, and it didn't work out. You gave Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon chances. It didn't work for them at that team. It worked elsewhere for them, but not at that team. Why not give Yuki, who's done all those years now at RB and is quick? Yes, he's got. I get the temperament question mark, but you know, Max Verstappen can lose his rag in the car quite often, and I'm sure others do as well. So give him a shot. And if he's absolutely dreadful, like CPB says, drop him and put somebody else there. Maybe look, whoever wins out of Lawson and Hadjar, or go find your own Piastri or whatever. If you can't promote anybody. I just don't understand why you wouldn't give Yuki the chance. Maybe they just don't like him. I don't know. But it's I've said this so many times over the last year, really. It sort of baffles me that we talk about Red Bull needing to replace Perez, but then it's all, well, what about Alonso if he's available? What about Piastri has been thrown around just recently? What about bringing Albon back, or putting Lawson in that car, or giving Ricciardo promotion? I'm like, hang on a minute. There's a guy called Yuki Tsunoda who's actually doing okay, has come on a long way since his first season. Why not give him a chance? If he's dreadful, what have you got to lose? So just odd to me. So just to get it out there, it would be Verstappen and Tsunoda in the Red Bull next year for me, and then Lawson and Hadjar in the RB, and Perez can go to Audi if he wants, or take a year off and then go to Audi when they've actually got a car that isn't hopefully trailing around at the back. So that's what I'd do. That's what I would do. We need to talk about F2 failing to be a predictor of who will be the future F1 driver. Top 3 will be overlooked again, says Marta. Do you know what we need to talk about, Marta? Why there's such a huge bloody gap between F2 races again. The way they schedule their championships really infuriates me. But it's gone from being, it's still the feeder series, because drivers do still come from there eventually. You know, Piastri eventually got in, and others eventually got in, and we had that year where we had Norris, Russell and Albon all promoted together. So it does give us drivers from time to time, but it's not the feeder series that I think we want. A lot of people want it to be. I don't know what the solution is there, but yeah. Red Bull isn't even looking a great prospect past 2025, says Tony Kart Racer. Well, actually, Tony, that's another point on Red Bull. I think they need to start thinking longer term anyway, because I don't see, if that car is second, third fastest next year, let's argue, just for the sake of argument, and you've got Adrian Newey at Aston Martin and Fernando Alonso coming towards the end of his career. What's Max Verstappen going to do? Do you think he'll stick around in a car that's that slow, or go somewhere where he sees progress, or try something else? I don't know, or retire. So they need somebody long term to spat on my mic. Lovely. They need somebody long term to replace him potentially, and they need to start thinking about that. So that's why I think Lawson and Hadjar at RB next year with Tsunoda in that car, because then you can test Tsunoda, you can test Lawson, you can test Hadjar. You've got your options, and if they're all dreadful, then you go find somebody else. So it's just that easy, Just go find somebody else. Come on, it's terrible. We are about 15 minutes away, by the way, from qualifying, so I will switch to the watch on screen in about 10 minutes or so, and I'll faff around with track maps and things like that, and we'll see what happens. But MSC, hello mate, hope you're well. We do actually need races with rookies and F1 cars, make them last year's maybe, and do 2 or 3 throughout the season. That's actually brings me to the other point, actually, quite nicely. I'll answer that in a sec, but we're also going to get 4 rookie test practice sessions next year per team. So from next year, I think it's next year, each driver has to then give up 2 FP1 sessions next year rather than just the 1. So we've got 4 practice sessions for rookies next year rather than just 2. So that's a big boost. And at the end of next year, there's talk of this rookie sprint race they're going to do in Abu Dhabi, as well as or instead of the Abu Dhabi test, which is quite exciting. So, but I like the idea of a couple through the season. So maybe in last year's car or something, or if they want to avoid cheeky testing things, then maybe a car that's a couple of years old or something like that. But I like that idea. It'd be good. It would be good. You going to Silverstone next year, Sean? Ask Jack. It depends. It's not a brag when I say this, but I can afford to go next year if I want to now. But I sort of I'm not keen on paying the prices they ask when I know that I could probably pay less and go somewhere like Spa for the weekend or something. Do you know what I mean? Not a Spa, as in Spa-Francorchamps, the racetrack, not for a pamper. But I begrudge paying that price. But Silverstone is a cracking weekend. I am going to Autosport in January though, all being well, so that's cool. But yeah, it's a lot of money. I don't know if they're doing dynamic pricing this year. There you go. Well, Jack's going. Fiance bought him a ticket, so there you go. I might have to go then. We'll have a weekend of it, Jack. Get a bit. Well, of course we don't drink. We don't drink. We wouldn't drink, would we? We're just yes. How about? Do you know what? MSC Biles just saying there. Sean, how about journalist passes? They're like gold dust. The FIA do not. They do not want me near a paddock. I'm pretty sure of that one. I mean, I'll be honest. I've raised the question with people that I need to raise a question with, and I got a maybe. But I think the idea of me being let loose in a paddock with any kind of freedom is petrifying for everybody involved. So there you go. Yes. I think I mentioned as well, just to let you know, new PC. So that's being set. I was setting that up this weekend. It's taking a long time. It is an absolute beast. So I did actually want to be a bit soppy for a second. And just take this opportunity to thank everybody once again from, 2018 was it? The 2018 testing streams where so many people just popped in, £10 here, £20 there, and got the money together to buy the PC I've got now. That's been making content for the last 5-6 years, however long it's been. Just a massive thank you. We are retiring that one now, so we will say farewell, and thank God it's gone, to be honest. So new one should be set up hopefully in time for next weekend's action, but it's taking a while. It's yeah, wow. I'll share the specs at some point, or I'll find them and I'll tell you them tomorrow. But yeah, just we'll say goodbye to the current PC, and just want to say thank you again for your support on that one. All those years ago, those who were here, it has been that long now, Brust. It really has. 2018. I was trying to work out that. It's like crazy. Crazy. I was invited, John. I was invited to... No, I wasn't. I was invited to the... What do they used to call it? They used to do that Monday night show. And I said no. Because that's just me. I just am. Yeah, I'm just trying to... I can't remember what it was called. They had like a Monday show after a race weekend, didn't they? I can't remember what it's called. I was invited on that one, but I said no thanks. So, yeah. I'm not an Albon hater. I love the dude, but I'm worried, says Marta, who actually originally said on current form, though Albon isn't looking good since Franco. What I will say, Stuart messaged me yesterday, actually, randomly, and said about Alex Albon. it's good to see him being pushed by a teammate. And you can see he's feeling that. And I think that's fantastic because that's only going to drive Williams forward. And if Alex Albon is as good as everybody keeps telling me he is, Franco Colapinto is a very good young driver. And it's sort of frustrating that it looks like he's going to be on the sidelines again next year. Probably in Formula E, because that's what happens, isn't it? So, Sad Mariners fan who's not from Grimsby, thank you very much for your super chat. Says, I'm so glad Max is back to the top. Not because I like him, but because I hate Lando. Wow. Do people hate Lando? Well, I mean, you do. You've just told me. I'm quite surprised by that. I found it quite funny today that half of Twitter or X or Twitter.com, we agreed to call it, didn't we? Because that is still technically correct. Twitter.com, half of it is saying that, of course, Lando Norris didn't get a penalty because he's British and the British are in the FIA's pocket. And the other half saying, well, of course, they're not going to investigate Red Bull anymore because Red Bull International Assistance or whatever they're calling them. It's like, Christ. You can't even see the irony of it, can you? Controversially, I prefer Franco to Alex, says CPB with a lol. I don't know either of them. I'm sure they're lovely. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why I'm so surprised at that. I don't know what Lando Norris has done to be. I think this is where I kind of am not made for the internet. I don't think you mean hate as in literal hate, because hate is such a strong word. I think you mean just you don't like him. But I read hate as like, wow, that's harsh. But you know, there you go. To each their own. There you go. There are drivers I'm not overly fond of either, but we'll not get into that one. That's a whole conversation for another day. That I just, yeah. Dislike his media presence, feels way too smug for someone who hasn't done much. Fair enough. I'm not going to criticise you for not liking somebody. That's, again, to each their own. There are drivers I like that you'll like and drivers that I don't like that you won't like and will fall out over things. But fallout was harsh, but yeah. I don't know. I've met him a few times and he seems nice. I think I met him at the Autosport show. It was the year, I think was it Daytona when it was teaming up with Fernando Alonso in the LMP1 car, I think it was. Possibly. The year before that. The year of that. So like the January before he was going for that. So I met him a few times since, but I just thought he seemed all right. But then that was a long time ago, wasn't it? Before I bought the PC. There you go. I think they're promising young drivers in F2 more so than Kimi Antonelli, says Tony Kart Racer. I grew up on Senna/Prost, so nothing new, says Mick or Mike. Yeah, I grew up on, I just missed Senna Prost growing up. I didn't start watching until 92, so I got Schumacher Hill, Schumacher Villeneuve, Schumacher Hakkinen, Schumacher everybody, Schumacher the media, Schumacher the FIA, you know, that's what I grew up with, and then obviously what we've grown into now. So, but yeah, Senna Prost, that was another level. I'm trying to think if there's been, since Senna Prost, do you think we've had anything on that level? You know, 2021 was pretty tense, but I still have said, you know, Senna Prost was multiple seasons, wasn't it, at the front, and it was tense. And anything since, I don't really think so. I mean, Hamilton had the season with Alonso, which was tetchy, wasn't it? And then with Verstappen in 21, but I don't think I've ever seen anything on that level for a while, really. But I kind of hope we get that next year. Wouldn't it be great to see, you know, Verstappen versus Norris or Piastri versus Verstappen that gets all really. John Joe says Alonso Vettel. That I don't think that never really got to, without downplaying Senna and Prost rivalry, by the way, but didn't really ever get to bitchy levels, did it? They just raced. I don't think they were on, that rivalry was on that level. It was a rivalry. I love their fight in Silverstone one year. I think that was post 2014 though. Fair enough, Tony. Do you know what, Tony? Yeah, I sort of agree, but we'll not go there. I think we are. Let's start getting to watch on, because I'm just watching. It's been a while since I've been live, so if you are new to the channel and you're going, God, this guy waffles, I do waffle anyway, but when it's been a while since I've been live, I've got a lot I want to talk about, and it's nice to see you all again. So they'll be more structured from tomorrow and into next week. So I would like to start doing more live streams, but there's a lot to get used to. in this new era. You might have noticed there's videos going on the channel, which is something that didn't happen for quite a while. So that's been taken up with some time, because apparently that takes effort that I've not bothered with for a while. So yeah, thank you very much for your support, by the way, on everything over the last few weeks. And those who didn't tear me apart for the shorts as well. We gave them a go. They did all right, and we'll do some more. But yeah, and that was the other thing as well. Actually, I'm doing two things at once again, as you can probably tell. That was the other thing I wanted to say as well. Thank you to everyone for your support on Elizabeth's video as well. On Tuesday, I was shitting myself. I thought I was going to get so much abuse for that. And oh no, Sean's leaving. It's all over. And it's all terrible. Unsubscribe. 99% of people were absolutely brilliant and supportive. So thank you very much. I enjoyed the video. I actually learned things from it as well, which is nice. And Elizabeth is, if you don't follow her or you've never seen anything of her, she's absolutely brilliant. So definitely having her back on again, because yeah, she's cool. I like people like that. So just getting the track map and everything set up on the Watchalong screen. We have started the music, or they've started the music on the old Sky coverage, the world feed. Liam Lawson in the titles as well, which is good to see, as a Liam Lawson apologist, I suppose, in a lot of ways. Let's see. I'm worried now. Have we got this right? I've two in a row. I don't think it's going to be three. Is it going to be three? I mean, come on. I'm slightly off. That's a shame. So nearly. Just slightly smaller than that, so I get out 20 and we're done. I'll take that. Lovely. Live timing, track map, all of the data on screen now is provided, of course, by Multiviewer for F1. They don't sponsor the stream. They just provide the timing, so I'd like to give them a shout out. If you've never used Multiviewer, I highly recommend it. You can customize your viewing experience with all the data you want, as much as you want, as little as you want. It's great stuff. We've got track maps, all sorts of data there. I saw something today, championship tracker or predictions. They've got race trace, loads of great features. Links in the description. Definitely go and check them out. Get this downloaded. It's free to download, but you do need at least an F1 TV access thing, which is £2.29 a month in the UK, so it's not too pricey. So definitely recommend them. So thank you to those guys for providing the live timing. There we go. I'm just going to reposition now. I was staying out of the fight in the chat. Be nice. I know it's late night, but well, it depends where you are. It's probably not, is it? So we have cars at the end of the pit lane. Everything's changed in my office. I've got this new PC sat here in the way. I've got new shelves. I've got nowhere to put anything. I'm just so disorganised. But then, what was it somebody said the other day? It was brilliant. There's a comment that was on the video, one of the videos, and it said something along the lines of, I love the F1 word because it feels like Sean has just stumbled into this, it's worked, and he has no idea how it's working or why it's working. And I kind of love that vibe on the channel, so it's pretty damn accurate, to be fair. I wouldn't go as far as Mickey Mouse, but it's not far off some days, I can promise you that. Thank you very much for tuning in, by the way. Please do drop a like. 32 likes, 212 of you here. Please do drop a like. We're massively appreciated. Do subscribe as well. Unfortunately, no pop-ups today because of the Streamlabs issue I talked about earlier. I'll try and get that sorted for tomorrow and do some shout-outs then. But, yeah, please do drop a like and subscribe. Your support and your company is greatly appreciated. Liam Lawson, of course, don't forget, with a penalty today. I think it's about a 60-place penalty, I think, was what it was earlier, because he's gone with engine, turbocharger, MGUH and K energy, store control, electronics, exhaust, and all that business, because Daniel Ricciardo ruined it. He didn't ruin it. Speaking of how long it's been, F1 TV was dicey at first, but it's quite good now, says Haprust. Yeah, I can't get actual F1 TV because I haven't got a VPN. Is it a VPN? It's VPN. I haven't got one of those yet. But I like their F1 TV access because you've got the access to the archives and things like that, and then you can have your live timing. So I do enjoy it. So yes, let's get ready for this. Where's Perez finishing today? Actually, let's end this poll. Well, we're not doing the poll just yet. But where's Perez going to qualify? Usually you all say 8th. 44% of you, by the way, very happy to see the back of the fastest lap points. Which again, yeah, I get it. I'm indifferent on that one. So Yeah, I like the arc. I just going back and watch. I did the when was it? A couple of winters ago, I went and watched the whole 2012 season back because if you're gonna watch a season back, watch 2012. I mean, come on, and it was just so much better than I remembered. So yes, we are green, by the way. We need to get that here. Obviously, just a reminder as well: no on-track footage for I mean, obvious copyright reasons, but I'll say it anyway. You all know that by now. So yes, we are green. Green flag. Clock is there under the United States Grand Prix qualifying one thing on the timing on the right there. I have also, if I remember, set up a timing screen so that when it's over, I can go to that. So you get the best sectors rather than the last sectors, just because, yeah. What's blowing harder currently? Perez, Joker 2, or Man United's Premier League aspirations? Screw you, CPV. That's harsh, man. Yeah, kick me in the nuts. Go on. Do it again. Go on, slag off Ferrari as well, and I'll just sit and cry for an hour and a half. From what I understand, Joker 2 probably. To be fair, I've not seen Joker 1, so I assume that's something to do with Batman and not cards. But yeah, McLaren should keep the silver livery. It says Mike. I agree. But do it in the, we said this last year when they had it for Silverstone or when they had it for Silverstone, whenever it was. Do it the Vodafone McLaren Chrome, but change the Vodafone bits to the papaya. That's how I'd do it. I will keep the faith, Marta. I definitely will. Yes, they did look good in the sprint, but I can't help but feel if they weren't squabbling amongst themselves in the early phase, they might have had a shot at a double podium. Well, it's not a podium, is it? A double top 3 finish, whatever it's called. Liam Lawson on team radio. Yeah. It was Fernando Alonso exiting the pits being a bit of a grump. I think him and Lawson had a falling out. I missed it, really. They had a bit of a moment on track. Alonso wasn't happy. I think they've had a bit of a few words. It looks like Alonso's carrying on as he left off, and it's sort of, all right, Fernando, you're 44, mate. Let it go. I won't sing, don't worry. Even after the stream delay, you're still a good 45 seconds ahead of Sky Go, says Warner's End. That's about a minute, isn't it, behind the live feed? I've had that with Stuart before. We've tried to do watch-alongs and during testing and that. It's infuriating when you've got a guest on, so I'm sorry, Warner's End. If there was anything I could do, I would pause for 45 seconds, but yeah. Here goes Alex Albon then. I'll try and do some commentary while we're waffling away as well. See what happens. You know the drill by now. I will try and bring you all the updates, but also we're just chilling on this wonderful Saturday evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. It is 11 p.m. here in the UK, so well past my bedtime. My hip will give in. That's BS. I'm usually not asleep till about 2:30, and then I wake up at 4 with the dog licking my head, and that's it for me. So I don't sleep much. It's why I'm so grumpy all the time. Alex Albon with his tribute helmet to Valentino Rossi. Looks quite cool. Is it 100th race this weekend or 100th start? Whatever the stat is. So that's flown by, of course. Alex Albon coming straight in the pits, though. He was on a... where are you, Alex Albon, on my timing tower? I've lost you completely. He wasn't a used set. So used sets for most drivers for these first laps, interestingly. But, of course, it's a sprint weekend, so only 12 sets rather than 13. So they will want to keep... some back for later on. So I think quicker cars will try and get through on the used initially. But yeah, straight in there. Oh yeah, I know I can delay YouTube, Dale, but I'm not. 45 seconds is it'll be great for Warner's End, but then terrible for everybody else. So I'm not gonna do that. So yeah. I like how you guys complain when us F1 fans here in the States have to stay up at 2. I'm not complaining at all. Tony Kart Racer. I've said millions of times that's an exaggeration on this channel that I prefer the early morning and late night races because then I can do what I want all day and then work in the evening basically. So I'm not complaining. I'm just complaining I get no sleep generally because the dog just won't leave me alone. He just loves me that much apparently. Here we go then. Lando Norris. We've got Alonso top of the time sheets 34.4. Norris will beat that on a 34 flat. Sainz purple and green. Leclerc green in the middle sector. He's up slightly, Sainz. This is going to be only goes second though, 34.1. Slightly slower in the final sector. Interestingly enough, what's Leclerc going to do? Keep an eye on track limits, particularly through 19 and 20, by the way. Catches some people out. And Leclerc only goes 5th. But again, used tyres for everybody except Bottas, Ocon, Zhou, Gasly, Lawson, now Albon, and Perez at the moment. So, I know, Tony. I just I know you as someone who's around the channel, so I know you're poking a bit, but some people generally get really mad at me saying that it's late and it's a complaint. It's not a complaint. Yeah. And what we're watching here? So we're just watching oversteer on Gasly in the McAlpine, sliding at turn 1. Lost 0.8 of a second, apparently, according to AWS. There you go. But yeah, that little bump, is it through turn 6? I say little bump, it really does knock the cars, doesn't it? So they've got rid of a lot of the bumps on the circuit with the resurfacing, but some are still there. I think that's going to be a quirk of this track, though, isn't it? Because of the way what it's built on. There's always going to be a bit of subsidence. So yeah, I think it's just be one of those tracks that constantly gets resurfaced and bumps ground out as well. I hope we don't lose it from the calendar, because I really do love this track. I really, really do. One of the better ones on the calendar, in my opinion. Because it's made up of great corners, that's probably why. But Verstappen half a second up in the first sector, but he's also on used tyres. No, that's changed. He's also on used tyres. So Verstappen half a second up in the first sector on a set of used tyres. Sergio Perez on a set of new tyres is slower than his teammate by a 10th. Is that right for Verstappen? Is that definitely used? I'm not surprised, by the way. I'm not surprised that it's used. You're going to use that because of the 12 sets of tyres this weekend, but half a second again in the middle sector. I just thought Perez would be quicker because he's on the new tyres, but then, yeah, 2/10 up on Norris for Perez, so he's 3/10 down on his teammate in the middle sector on those fresh tyres. And Verstappen's, yeah, that's interesting. Concerning possibly for Perez, but it's certainly a track that seems to be suiting Red Bull better, doesn't it, than recent tracks have. Yeah, I think Verstappen, I'm going to go bold here, may well top the timesheets. He's quite wide, but he just keep it on there. 3/10 quicker in the end, 1:33.690. Here comes Perez on a 1:34 flat. So he's 4/10 slower than his teammate, and Perez, according to the timing screens, is on new tyres. Yes, he did lose time in sector 3, but it's one of those laps where or one of those racetracks where your tyres will fall away if you push too hard early on. So not a huge shock, but that's a good time. Jonathan says, Sean, I went to my first F1 event ever, and I just realised that for as long as I've been an F1, I've been your fan. And let me tell you, it was so amazing to see the cars fly by at turn 12. Enjoy, Jonathan. Hope you had it sounds like you had a cracking time. So yeah, welcome to the world of visiting an F1 event. It's crackers, isn't it? It's a great weekend. Was it at, I assume, at Kota? Jonathan, I'm going to take a punt there. Just a bit of a gamble there. About $350 for 3 days general admission if you want to see. It can be $500 to $1,500 depending on the corner, and that's talking about the race tickets there. So yeah, I don't know what Silverstone is this year, but it's crazy. But yeah, I'm glad you had a great time, Jonathan. I do enjoy it. It's great to see the cars out there. You definitely see more on TV. There's no doubt about it. You do sort of just stand, unless you get a screen, you do tend to just watch the cars going by 52 times at Silverstone, but it's still great to see them out there. So highly recommend if you can get to a race. Definitely do. So Hulkenberg's gone second on a 33.8. That is on a fresh set of tyres. So Hulkenberg on fresh tyres, quicker than Perez on fresh tyres. So I don't know if Perez... I'll ask the question. Don't shout at me and say, no, Sean, he's just terrible. I'll ask the question. Did he have traffic or make a mistake? I don't know, but that's going to be a wake-up call for Checo. Hulkenberg. I mean, Hulkenberg's been quick this weekend. Both the Haas boys have, so they've got a great shot at some big points. Colapinto in 5th at the moment, by the way. Albon in 6th. Hamilton only 14th. So just to confirm, Hulkenberg, Perez, Colapinto, Albon... Where are we? Alonso, maybe Bottas did as well on new tyres there. So that's... Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, do you know what, Jack? Let's have some positivity. Perez isn't terrible. Hulkenberg's just that good. There you go. Ocon goes fourth, 33.986 in the McAlpine. What's Lawson going to do? Really all over the road. Final corner goes fourth fastest at 1:33.909. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda. It's a fascinating battle for the rest of the season, isn't it? And he goes fifth on a 1:33.974, both on fresh tyres. So early days, but good start there for Liam Lawson. See what he can do in Q2, etc. later in the session. And the rest of this session, of course, got to get through to Q2 first, haven't they? That was a bit presumptuous, but VCARB do look pretty quick here. And Tsunoda's lost his time, as I say that. Also, by the way, I'm loving... don't know if you've noticed, Daniel Ricciardo's not here. He's gone. Just to confirm as well, by the way, he's not died. He has just left Formula One. You wouldn't believe it on socials and the way that people are going on about him. It's like it's... Yeah, God. But anyway... we used to have Lawson on track, or we'd have Ricciardo on track, and then the camera would cut to Lawson. But now we seem to have Lawson on track, and the camera cuts to Hadjar. So I don't know if the director's trying to set up some kind of tension there. I don't know, but that just made me laugh when noticed it in practice. We just had it again there, looking at an RB and then straight to Hadjar. So obviously that's just something the director enjoys doing. Here comes Sainz on some fresh tyres on a hot lap. He is just up on Gasly, a time he needs to get through. No, Gasly's fastest, sorry, 33.5, so he's just up on Gasly. Gasly in the McAlpine was on the new softs. We're just a bit out of sync at the moment because of you got used softs and new softs everywhere. So once we start to get the times from the faster teams, we'll kind of work out everyone is. But great lap from Gasly, great lap from Hulkenberg as well. So Perez down in 7th, Piastri 14th, Hamilton and Russell in the drop zone at the moment. Leclerc and Tsunoda have not set a time. Zhou is just coming to the pits. So we've got 6 minutes left, Mia, in Q1. Exactly, CPV. I like that. I'm stealing that line. I'm going to share that with somebody later. That's so true. Leclerc's got purple in the middle sector. Probably not a great surprise there. What was his middle sector? A 37.1 to Gasly's 37.4. So this is a good lap here from Charles Leclerc. Ferrari do look good. Hopefully, I've not just jinxed that. Waiting for one of them to stick it in the wall now. Nice at the final corner from Sainz. Opens the DRS over the line, goes second fastest on a 33.556. That is a good lap from Gasly then, to be fair. What's Leclerc going to do? Going to go fastest on a 1:33.241, 3/10 quicker than Pierre Gasly. Verstappen down to 4th, Hulkenberg 5th, Lawson in 6th. Here come the McLarens on their fresh tyres. Piastri around the final corner, over the line, and goes 7th on a 33.9. Interesting. Norris is... I thought he got round there, but he hadn't. It was just the way the camera swung. Sorry. I just had a moment. He's into the final corner now. That's interesting. That McLaren... Only 4th for Norris, a 33.6 on fresh tyres. Interesting. McLaren... 4th and 8th. So Piastri's definitely got to go again. Watching Tsunoda here. This is track limits. So turn 12, 1:33.9 has gone. And he was... Oh, yeah, he was over, yeah. I think the onboard's a bit useless in that situation. You need to see the offboard. Yeah, he was solidly over there. So Tsunoda lost his time. But yes, the McLarens, 4th and 8th. So I was going to say Piastri definitely needs to go again. Is Norris safe? I mean, Verstappen's got out on fresh softs now, so we'll see what he can do. But tell you what, was that a Ferrari? Going wide there, flicking up some debris. So we've got big laps coming up here for Russell and Hamilton down in 17th and 18th. They've still got to use the new tyres, so we'll see. That time from Gasly is a pretty. That's a stand-up time at the minute there from Gasly. And a surprise as well. But I've been surprised quite a few times, actually, in this weekend so far. We had a good sprint this morning. That was a surprise. I wasn't expecting Verstappen to be as comfortable as he was. I thought McLaren would have better race pace, but they didn't. I was actually surprised to see Perez as low as he was, to be fair. I thought he might step it up if the cars improve this weekend, and I thought he might step it up as well, but no. And I was a bit surprised by Haas pace, which was nice. So, yeah. Yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it, Dal? The decision for Renault to stop the engine development. I don't. I obviously like Renault to stay. I don't think it looks very good on F1 that they've pulled out, but equally, with my love for the Enstone team for obvious reasons, if they got a Mercedes engine and it gives them a bit of a boost, then that's not a terrible thing. But they won't be a works team anymore, no matter how much they try and dress it up. There's no doubt about that. Renault may own the team, but they're not a works team. Build your own engine. It's just odd, but yeah. Especially when we go into regulations where it's going to be so important to integrate chassis and power unit together more so than ever, possibly. With the changes to both sets of rules, why would you give that up? But money, maybe. I don't know, but the noise from the factory is the engine's pretty good, so I don't know. Shrugs. I'm just going to shrug. 2 minute mark now. We have got Leclerc, Gasly, Sainz, Norris, Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Lawson, Piastri, Ocon, and Perez, your top 10. And your bottom 5 are Bottas, Russell, Hamilton, Zhou, and Tsunoda. Reminder, we've got a few cars yet to do. Laps on the new tyres. They're all on new tyres now. An incident involving cars 18 and 27. That's Stroll and Hulkenberg has been noted for impeding, just so you know. Keep an eye on that one later. See if we get penalties there. Here we go. Verstappen's got fastest on 133 flat, so he is through there as we come to the minute and a half mark. What have we got here from Russell and Hamilton? They're both improving. Not massively, shockingly, really. Here comes Russell at the final corner. Over the line he goes and goes up to third place on a 133.536. Getting off for half a second down, I think, wasn't he? Yeah, he is half a second down. Hamilton over the line now. Only 16th. Crofty in my ear then just went, only 16th. Yes, same time as Crofty. We're on the same wavelength, me and him. That's just what's happened there then? 1.1 seconds down. He's got a minute to get. He's not going to get around in a minute, so that is out, isn't it? It is out. He's never pushing again. He hasn't got the. No, he's not pushing at all. He's out. Hamilton's gone. Wow. Hopefully, we'll get to see a bit of that lap, or watch maybe Anthony Davidson do it in the gap and see if there's an onboard there, because that's a huge gap, really. But then, 1.1 seconds down to 16th place. Not bad for F1, that really, is it? So, that's terrible for Lewis Hamilton. That RB of Yuki Tsunoda looks really twitchy through that sort of tight, twisty bit there. He needs a lap. He is currently last. Of course, his lap time got deleted. He was behind Lawson, though, at that point. So, Yuki Tsunoda through 19. He's got traffic all over the road. Oh, goodness me. Get out of the way. Over the line he goes, and he goes to 7th. So Tsunoda, assuming that lap stands, does make it through into 7th place. So he will go through. Alonso all over the place, pushing hard here. Coming through now. I always get the corners mixed up in this bit. 15 and then into the 16, 17, 18. He's got Verstappen just ahead of him. He should get out of the way quite easily. He does indeed. Through 19 for Alonso. Keeps it within the white lines. Needs a good exit here from 20. What's he got? The checkered flag is flying. Fernando Alonso over the line. And goes 10th. So he's through. Colapinto now in the bubble. Currently Stroll, Magnussen, Hamilton, Bottas, Zhou out. Hamilton is out. Bottas drops to last as Zhou moves up a place. Is Bottas improving? He is personal best. What's Hamilton saying? Just all right, guys. Yeah, so obviously that's just not a good lap. So no issues there. And his lap time's been deleted for track limits at turn 12. So he drops to 18th. Unless that was a different lap time, maybe. But yeah, Hamilton is definitely out. I'm trying to work out who's going quick. Bottas is improving here. Not great in the middle sector, though, to be fair. Magnussen, I'd be surprised if he got knocked out this early on in the session, given how they were this morning and yesterday, or this evening and yesterday. It's so confusing, but I get that. Come on, K-Mag, stick a lap in, mate. What we got? Bottas goes 18th ahead of Hamilton. Magnussen goes 7th. That's a big improvement. That puts Colapinto out and leaves Albon at risk. Stroll is the only one that can beat him, and Stroll does move into 15th place. Perez is only 14th and improves to 9th. But I believe, unless Albon's improving, which he is not, we have lost Alex Albon, Franco Colapinto, Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton, the shock there, and Zhou Guanyu. Wow. That is. You look at the Martin Brothers saying in my ear, that total shock of Hamilton down 19th place. that Mercedes is a bit all over the place. Sometimes it's having a good weekend, sometimes it doesn't. It had found form through the summer, didn't it? It was doing quite well. But actually, when you look at yesterday's qualifying, you look at the race or the sprint today, although the race pace wasn't there, you wouldn't have thought Mercedes 19th. Wow, so 19th place as Hamilton is out. That is the big shock of that session. Verstappen fastest. Liam Lawson jumped to third place, by the way, in the end. Watching a replay of Alex Albon. Oh, goodness me. Bumping all over that bumper thing through turn 6. Massive slide on, completely sideways. And nearly lost it again. Had that spin yesterday, that lovely 360 he did. But yes, that's it then. I was just going to say, Max Verstappen fastest, 1:33.0, nearly 2 tenths quicker than Charles Leclerc in second. Liam Lawson third, 3 tenths slower than Max Verstappen. There you go. George Russell in fourth place, half a second off the fastest time. Gasly was fifth in the end, but I think that's a really good lap from Gasly, to be fair, as was Lawson's. Carlos Sainz sixth, Magnussen seventh, and Hulkenberg eighth. Perez only ninth. I know it's only Q1, but just as surprising, Norris 10th and Piastri 12th, sandwiching Tsunoda in 11th. That's a bit of a surprise as well. Fernando Alonso 13th, Esteban Ocon 14th, and Lance Stroll 15th. And then we lost Alex Albon, missed out by a few hundredths of a second. Colapinto was 17th. What is that? 10th. Not a 10th, sorry, 100th slower than his teammate. Bottas in 18th, a couple of thousandths quicker than Hamilton in 19th. And Zhou Guanyu is last at 1.182, separating the entire field. Love it. So yes, Hamilton 19th and out qualified by a bloody Sauber. That's pretty bad. So I want to. We don't know what happened to Lewis, Mr. Faze. He said on the radio, sort of apologising almost to the team. But it doesn't sound like there's been any kind of mistake or anything like that. So we'll hopefully find out in any kind of interview or anything like that in the next few minutes. If not, then we'll see if anything gets said afterwards by the team. In fact, I might even just have a quick check. If I can reach my phone, there we go. And see if there's... That's me stretching. And see if I can find anything on the Mercedes Twitter.com account. And see if... gutted Lewis sat in Q1 and that's the end of his qualifying, is what they said 48 seconds ago. So... yeah, nothing on the old Twitter just yet, but we'll see what happens. But that's a big shock. Would be interested to know what's gone on there, but maybe the patience isn't there. I mean, it happens, doesn't it? So, by the way, that was according to Lights Out blog. That was Williams' first double Q1 exit since the Austrian Grand Prix. Oh, there we go. He's wide. He's locked up at turn 12 and gone wide onto the runoff. Yeah, left front lock up into 12. And then wide, and that's it. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. Simple as that. Hamilton did say on his team radio what's happened to this car, man. So there we go. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's the only answer I've got for you, I'm afraid, on this. I'll just try to listen to see if anything was said on Sky there, but it wasn't. But yeah, so lock up at turn 12. There we go. Hamilton out. So if you are just tuning in, we've lost Albon, Colapinto, Bottas, Hamilton, and Zhou. Also, if you are just tuning in, please do leave a like. 720 of you here. Please do drop a like and support the channel. Really helps in the algorithm. Kind of crazy helps in the algorithm. So please do leave a like and subscribe as well. Again, I can't do shout outs today, unfortunately, because I've got an issue with Streamlabs, which I'll try and get sorted for tomorrow. So I'll come back to your subscription if you do subscribe tomorrow and give you a shout out in that stream. And then hopefully it'll be running properly for next week. So yeah, subs and likes. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate the support. And of course, the support over the last few weeks as well. It's shoots of recovery, we'll say. To be fair, Kevin, whichever. They all count the same for YouTube. It always makes me laugh. There's a couple of people who I know have told me they will dislike every video because they don't like me or the channel. They've literally told me. And I'm kind of like, okay. Counts as an interaction. Nothing more, nothing less. I've said it to many people. If you hate the channel, just don't engage with it. The worst thing you could do is leave any kind of thing if you don't like the channel. So, but please do. I like is preferred because it just tells me that you're cool, that you're happy with everything. But Although I'm yet to find the internet be happy with everything, so that'd be nice. We are underway for Q2, as I double press that one instead of that. The clock has started, so we are ready to go, but no cars rushing out at the moment. We have started, haven't we? Yeah, the clock's ticking down, so yeah, all good. I was having a moment there. Here goes a Red Bull. I think, is that Max Verstappen? It is Max Verstappen heading out on track now. They'll all start to follow now on a new set of tyres by the look of it. And then we'll get Lando Norris out shortly. So let's see if we get another shock in this session. Lewis Hamilton a shock in the first session. McLaren, you think they'd have better pace in Q2 maybe if they can... They were, 10th and 12th is nervy times for them if they deliver that kind of pace again in this session. So we'll see. But Perez out on track as well now, both the Red Bulls. He needs a lap, definitely a good lap. But Verstappen's on used tyres. Sorry, Verstappen is on used tyres. I was just going to say actually that it'd be nice for Perez to put a lap in on his first lap and not have the pressure of having to, like, he might go again, but not have the pressure of having to go again would be nice, wouldn't it? As Norris stops in the pit lane. Is that just for... Is he just gaining a gap? Yes, he is. He just stopped there. And the way the camera was focused on him, I wondered if there's an issue. But no, he's just making sure he's got a gap to the cars ahead who are all messing about at the end of the pit lane. So we've got an RB and a Haas. It's Hulkenberg and I think Sonoda side by side on pit exit, which is law. No, it was Sonoda side by side on pit exit for some reason. So there you go. Why not? So Max Verstappen, so Max, Leclerc, Lawson as well on used tyres. Sainz on used tyres. Gasly's gone out on new. Perez is on new tyres. Ocon, Stroll, Russell possibly on new tyres. Alonso on new tyres. I'm just watching us talk about the pit lane here. See if we can get this one right. But yeah, so we have got some used tyres. I'm quite surprised at that. But again, I suppose it's the 12 tyre allocation, isn't it? I think four new sets of softs they had, or Verstappen had, and a lot of other drivers had as well for this. So you don't want to go using them all up. That'll be why. But he's coming around now. Of course, he's going to now come and start a lap, and he's got cars exiting the pits and messing around. So it's that's how slow they are leaving the pits in qualifying. He's gone out and got round before most of the field's even got out for the first time. So there we go. Let's see what he can do. We'll see what Leclerc, Lawson, and Co can do. Perez goes across the line to start his lap. Yeah, I thought so, Dal, because it made me sort of go, why are we focusing on him just sat there? And then it sort of zoomed out. I was like, oh, there are other people there, that's fine. But Verstappen, obviously purple in the first sector. The only one set a first sector at the moment. What can Perez do? Just going past Hulkenberg. I'll read through the tyres in just a moment. And Sainz is on his lap as well now, which is good. Perez 25.1 on a fresh set of softs. Verstappen 24.9 on an old set of softs. Okay. Yes, I think we still got a few cars waiting to come out, but basically it is Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc, and Lawson on used tyres. So just bear that in mind when the lap times come in. But 25.2 for Sainz on a used set of tyres there. Haas the best of the rest, says Tony. They're looking good, aren't they? Verstappen obviously purple again in the middle sector. I don't know why I keep saying that. He's the only one. He's the first one to do a lap. He'll be purple all over. But we'll see what he can do with his lap time. This could be... he'll go out again. He's not just going to set it on this unless he does like a 15-2 or something and shocks us all with a rocket ship. But we'll see. Oh, I thought he was going wide there, but he wasn't quite. Over the line, 33 flat. See what Sainz does and Leclerc and Perez will be next across the line. I think everyone's out on track now. Is Lawson stuck on pit exit, or is it just taking that long to get out? Yes, we went out and came back in again, and then he's going again. Perez, 33.4, goes second place. Next across the line will be Sonoda to start a lap, I believe, indeed. And then Sainz will be the one to complete it, to give us our third time on the board in Q2. What are you going to do, Carlos? So he goes second, 1:33.433, marginally quicker than Perez. Again, Verstappen in sights on the used softs. What have we got here? Gasly, who's been pretty rapid so far, comes across the line, goes second on the 33.4. He is on new softs, though, this time, so not used ones. Leclerc next, through 20 he comes. Awkward little corner, that, or it seems to be anyway. Over the line he goes, stays fifth on a 1:34.046. So not epic there from Charles Leclerc at all. Nearly a second off the pace, but again on used tyres. That might be a good shout. Actually, is Lawson about to give a tow? He is indeed. He is indeed. On the back straight now, Tsunoda is following Lawson. And I assume we're now going to see Lawson basically stop as Tsunoda goes through. There we go. It was a tow. Good spot there, Fud. Good spot. Yes, it was a tow. So Lawson has towed Tsunoda down that back straight. Interesting. So we'll see what that does for Tsunoda then. So the middle sector for Tsunoda was a 37.4. So for example, Ocon did a 37.2. So it's not bad, but it's not amazing. We'll see if it does anything else for him. But yeah, Lawson now, does he get a tow back or does he come straight in the pits for some fresh softs? Of course, yeah, Lawson's got his penalty, hasn't he? So it's pointless. Pointless going for a lap, is it? They might as well use him for the tow. Yes, that's reminding me, yeah. Sorry, I was having a moment there, wasn't I? Ocon goes purple in the middle sector. And that's been beaten now by Norris. And Piastri a little bit slower, a couple of tenths slower than his teammate there. See what Lando does through the final corner. Nicely through there. And over the line he goes to go fastest on a 32.851. That is on a new set of soft tyres, though. New set of soft tyres. Piastri is next across the line on his fresh set of tyres. Only third on a 1:33.057. So, yes, just again, reminder. Norris, new tyres. Verstappen, used. Piastri, new. Gasly, new. Russell on new tyres goes fourth on 1:33.142, 3 tenths off the fastest time. And what's Stroll doing out there? He's down in 13th at the moment, or 13th at the moment. Ocon 11th, despite that purple middle sector at the time. So interesting. It's the used tyres. It throws me off. Could we have some commentary about the liveries, Sean? Says Kevin. What would you like to know about the liveries, Kevin? The McAlpine looks, I mean, better than their usual one, to be fair, but I preferred the Deadpool one they had. That was cool. Spa, was that a Spa? The Deadpool one? Deadpool Wolverine? I liked that one. I wish they'd have kept that, but yeah. That's cool. The McLaren Chrome, I still think more Chrome, less papaya, but I know papaya is their identity, so they're not going to change it, just like Ferrari are never going to go away from a red Ferrari. Understandably. Yeah. I quite like the Haas. What did they... American elements on the Haas. I quite like that. The colours that shape into the eagle. I do enjoy that. That's a nice touch, but I do wish Haas would just go would embrace their American identity a bit more and just go full stars and stripes or something or whatever on their livery. But they don't seem to want to, so that's a shame, really. But that's John T's kind of drummed that into me. He's always said that we need a proper American livery for what are they called? Haas. There we go. I got it in the end. Haas. That's what I say. So what we got then? We are 6 minutes left in Q2. We're looking for times to get through into Q3, obviously. Lando Norris is fastest on a 32.8. Max Verstappen, 2 tenths further back. He set his time on the used tyres, though, versus Norris on the fresh tyres. Piastri and Russell and Gasly all on new tyres. Piastri 2 tenths off. Russell nearly 3 off. Gasly basically 6 tenths off, really. Same for Sainz in 6th. He was on used tyres. Perez on new tyres, just over 6 tenths off in 7th. Hulkenberg and Magnussen 8th and 9th. 7.5 tenths off there for those two. Tsunoda in 10th place. Ocon, Alonso, Stroll, Leclerc and Lawson all in the drop zone, but don't read too much into Liam Lawson being down there because he's got about a 3 million place grid penalty because of all his new engine components. So he will be... I'm not reading that, Murray. There's no way I'm reading that. So he's going to get a big drop anyway to the back of the grid, so there's no point worrying about that. Tell to Liam, when he gives me the slipstream, stay in the middle and go to the left at the end of the straight. I was picking up so much dust on the straight. So Yuki's giving some advice there to Liam Lawson on how to do the toe properly. So, see, I like that. They're poking fun about Sky. I quite like that. It's a more experienced F1 driver giving some advice to a driver in their first weekend for a year. I quite like that, actually. Just giving a bit of advice. This is how you need to do it. That was cool. That's teammates working together. That's what we want, surely. There you go. Is it Vinicius and Tony saying Tsunoda into Q3? I'm just going to refresh the stream. Sorry, not you won't see anything. I just if you wonder why I go quiet for a second, make sure I press the right button. Nearly ended it the other week when we did that, which would have been terrible, having to start all over again. Stop telling me how to monetize my stream. Thank you. I'm fully aware how to do it. I don't want to stick ads everywhere though. There we go. All sorted. Just so I know that the stream's caught up and the chat's caught up. So, was Norris on used tyres? He was not. He was on new. He was on new tyres, fresh tyres. The buzz. Verstappen has just gone out now on a fresh set of new tyres. It will show new tyres on the graphic there. So, yes. I'm not on the new PC yet, John T. All that messing around with the fans and the cooler and all that, trying to stop it being quite so loud, and then getting all the apps installed. I ran out of time, so I'm still on the old PC. Probably will be for tomorrow as well. But I'm determined to have it all sorted, ready for the editing on Monday. So yeah, but from what I've run of it so far, it's yeah, it's just so pretty. I just keep staring at it like I may never use it. It might just sit there. I might just put it on display. I did spend about half an hour messing around with the lights inside because apparently you can do lots of fun stuff with it, which of course is really important as a content creator that I play with things that you guys don't get to see. Take that how you will. Let's move on then. We've got just under 3 minutes to go in Q2. Charles Leclerc is getting ready for a lap here. In fact, he's going for a lap. Max Verstappen already out there. Is he going for 2 warm-up laps here, Verstappen, or is he just having a bit of a slow out lap? He's on lap 11. Maybe not. Maybe not. So what we got? Here we go. 1/10 up on Tsunoda is the time he needs to get out of Q, or out of the elimination zone. Sorry, into Q3. So here's a 10th up on Tsunoda. It's so tight in this field that could be a second by the end of the lap, the way it's going. Then Tsunoda comes back at him later. But Norris has stayed in the pits at the moment, but there is still time if he wants to go out. So keep an eye out and see if he's on the move. Verstappen goes fastest on 1:32.584. First sector wasn't great, It wasn't bad, but it wasn't his best. But he has gone quicker by 2.5 tenths than Norris there. So Red Bull definitely have some pace today, as they showed this morning or this evening, however you want to look at it. And, of course, yesterday in qualifying. Leclerc, half a second up on Tsunoda now, so that's going to be a big jump. He should get through, unless he makes a mistake. He should easily get through now into Q3. Ocon, Alonso, Stroll, Leclerc, Lawson in the drop zone. Tsunoda 10th. So they are going to try and use Lawson. And here we go. They're doing it on the back straight now. Is Lawson... We're not watching it on TV. I'd like to see if he does take Tsunoda's advice. But he's not. So we're going to watch now. Does he go past? Tsunoda goes through. There we go. Into turn 12. So hopefully they got that right this time. What's his middle sector like? 37.4 was his previous best. It's a 37.4 again for Tsunoda. Leclerc goes third. Nearly 4 tenths off. Here comes Perez now. He is improving. Green, and it is green again. He goes fourth, 1:33 flat. Yeah. Gasly's 2.5 tenths down on Verstappen. Be good to see Gasly through. He's been doing well. I want the Haas boys through as well. Let's put more through. Let's have a top 15 shootout. Why not? Been some good performances this weekend so far, but there's been some good mixes as well. So Tsunoda moves into 9th place, knocks out Magnussen. Magnussen is on a lap though. Is he improving? No, it's a yellow first set. So Hulkenberg has gone quicker on a personal best. What's he going to do, Gazzy? Lawson pits, so he will be 15th, and of course takes his penalty. Gazzy is 7th on a 1:33.162. We've got under 30 seconds, 25 seconds to go in the session. Here comes Carlos Sainz, currently 8th. What can he do? Green and yellow for Ocon, by the way. Sainz goes from 8th to 2nd on a 32.8. So Verstappen still 2.5 tenths clear. Ocon looked like he was wrestling that a bit through 19, but hopefully we can see it. 2 McAlpines in the top 10. That'd be pretty cool. I'd enjoy that. Well, 11th will do. Ocon's there. He's close enough. Hulkenberg is improving. He did in the first sector, middle sector, not horrific. It is slower. Magnussen a little bit wide. Hulkenberg a little bit wide there, but over the line he goes. Doesn't improve Hulkenberg. Stays 10th, but I think Stroll's improving. Alonso, not really. He isn't improving. Magnussen goes 9th. I'll shut my face. Hulkenberg isn't through. Magnussen found time in the final sector, which is good stuff from him. So he got to 9th place. Hulkenberg down to 11th. So we're losing Hulkenberg, Ocon, Alonso, Stroll, and Lawson at the moment. We're on board with Fernando again. He's going to be one of the last to cross the line. The checker flag is out, by the way. I need to keep an eye on the flag on screen. So keep changing it on the stream. I keep forgetting. What's he going to do? Here comes Fernando Alonso down towards turn 20. The final tricky little left-hander on the throttle. Nicely inside track limits and goes 9th on a 33.4. Wow. That knocks Tsunoda out. Not literally, just puts him out of the session. What can Stroll do here? What can Stroll do? That's a good lap from Fernando Alonso. Lance Stroll over the line. He stays 14th. So Fernando Alonso, in what Ted Kravitz called the 9th fastest car this weekend, has qualified 9th. So he's the 9th fastest driver in the 9th fastest car. Not bad there, Fernando Alonso. Are we surprised? Probably not. So Max Verstappen, he's top of the session, 2.5 tenths clear of Carlos Sainz. Lando Norris in 3rd place. A few hundredths or a hundredth, not even that, off Sainz. Charles Leclerc nearly 4 tenths off in 4th. Perez is over 4 tenths off in 5th. Piastri getting on for half a second off in 6th place. Russell over half a second off in 7th. Gasly not far from Russell, actually in 8th place. Fernando Alonso 9th, cracking lap. 10th place for Kevin Magnussen, sneaking through there ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Nico Hulkenberg in 12th. Ocon 13th. Stroll 14th and Lawson 15th. They are all out, of course. Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Stroll and Lawson joining Albon, Colapinto, Bottas, Hamilton. If you've just come, Hamilton is here, yes. He is out. And Zhou in 20th. And that was why Hulkenberg, big lock up at the first corner. Lost apparently 4 tenths, according again to AWS there on the graphic. So, yes, pretty much. So there we go. That's... Thank you very much to Yammers195 for your super chat. Says Verstappen on a mission this weekend, it seems. Thank you very much, mate, for your super chat. Appreciate the support on the channel. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Fastest in sprint quali, wins the sprint race. Looking good here for he's in the mix for pole. Let's say we don't want to put a jinx on it for any Verstappen fans. Yes, Vinicius disappointed for Tsunoda. Yeah, it's 11th place, though, isn't terrible, is it? There's points on the table tomorrow, potentially. So it's not... It would have been good to see him through, I'm sure, but 11th place is not too bad. Not far off either in the end, so there you go. CPB says Alonso is David Copperfield on wheels. Yes, the Red Bull is definitely looking fast, Thomas. It really is. I'm not going to play the are they back game because... One, that inevitably ends in somebody else on pole other than Verstappen, and I look a fool. But also, this season, one weekend, we're talking about McLaren as the dominant force. Look at Singapore. Next time, it's a Ferrari suddenly turns up and you go, where they come from? or Mercedes, like we saw in sort of that run in the summer where they got a couple of wins back-to-back and surprised everybody. And you thought, okay. So I don't want to... We could have a completely different show next weekend. I'm not sure we will. I feel like if you're good at Kota, you're going to be good at Mexico. I know the altitude there plays a part, but there are elements of that track that are similar to Austin. You've got the long straights. You've got that sort of fast sweeping S's, if you want to call them that, round in that middle sector. The tight, twisty section in the stadium. So there are characteristics that are quite similar, but you've got the altitude to take into account there as well. But do you know what? If it's this close in Brazil, what a weekend we're going to have. One of the best of the year. Sprints more often than not work at Sao Paulo as well. It's going to be incredible. Vanessa says, why does Lawson have no time? Hey, Vanessa. Lawson has no time. He was giving Tsunoda the toe, but he's taking a 60-odd place grid penalty because he's taken all new power unit components this weekend. So the priority for RB was to try and get Tsunoda through. They very nearly did it, to be fair. So he was compromised or sacrificed, if you like, to give the toe to Tsunoda to try and get him through. But that's why he's got no time. But he was, at one point, he was third. So he's got some pace in him this weekend. But no point. Even if he took pole to surprise us all, he'd have ended up on Mars, basically, for the start tomorrow. So there we go. Big grid penalty incoming. Lewis Hamilton is talking to Sky. Just 1 second. If I go quiet, I apologise. Hope you won't hear it on stream because, So saying the sprint had a failure on the formation lap at the front. That was the bumping or the whatever he was talking about, wasn't it, in the sprint? So car was a nightmare, is what he's saying there. And he's talking about starting in the pit lane tomorrow, so because of all the changes I want to make. I mean, to be honest, you qualified 19th. You may as well take engines and everything, hadn't you, really? Inconsistent balance. Try to pick out the bullet points for you, really. Car's a nightmare, inconsistent balance. Pit lane tomorrow, probably, because they want to make changes. And that failure on the formation lap with was it a tapping, I think he said, didn't he, on the radio for the sprint? So, But, I mean, if I'm Lewis Hamilton, 5 races to go, I'm saying to the team, stick a new engine in it. We'll start from the pit lane. Make lots of setup changes and go have some fun tomorrow. Then he's all right for engines for the rest of the year, isn't he? If the weekend's effectively done from here in terms of a chance of anything like a podium, then you might as well just go out there and have some fun, but also set yourself up for the rest of the season. That's what I'd do. But obviously teams want to think of money and things, and they'll want to be careful, won't they? Don't want to just stick engines in for the sake of it, regardless of what's included in cost caps. You still don't want to spend the money if you don't have to, but that's what I'd do. But then that's why I don't run an F1 team. There's a lot of things I'd do, and we'd fail miserably. I'd be amazed if an F1 team ran by Sean even got to the grid. We'd be worse than Lola in 97. Wouldn't even get there. No shocking exits in Q2. Says Nick. Shocking no. Hulkenberg's a bit of a surprise, I think. But I agree. Nothing shocking. Nothing that makes you go, whoa. But I'm a little bit surprised Hulkenberg 12th, but he made that mistake at turn 1, so may have got through. Are we green? We're almost green. I'll try to remember to press the button this time to make sure the timing thing works properly. It is well. I mean, Lola got to practice, didn't they, in Australia? They just didn't qualify, and then it was over in Brazil. So I mean, they at least got the car on track. There are so few photos of that car. I might look into that at some point because it's quite an interesting. I was going to say an interesting story that revolved around surprise money in a lot of ways. But MasterCard Lola. We are green, by the way. Green. Go. Ready for Q3. The one that decides pole. Who we got going for pole? We've got Magnussen, Verstappen, Sainz, Norris, Leclerc, Perez, Piastri, Russell, Gasly, Alonso going for pole. Go on then, chat. While they're doing their out laps, one surname. Who have you got for pole? I'll read a few out, and I'll say I'm going to go with Max Verstappen. I picked Norris for all the poles in the sprint win, and Verstappen for the Grand Prix win. So I'm hoping he wins tomorrow, so I get 1 point on my my predictions at least. That'd be great. Only correct answer given there by Murray, which is, of course, Van Dorn. But yeah, I'll go Verstappen. For pole. Is that controversial? I don't think so. He's looking rapid. But you never know, Norris or Russell yesterday was a surprise, wasn't he, with his lap time? So he might pull one out of the bag and surprise us all. So, you never know. You never know. It's just that kind of season. And what a season it is compared to where we were. We were preparing, weren't we? We had the conversation at the time for a season of domination. I was thinking, how are we gonna make content for this? People struggled last year to watch. Vescus Hamilton, that'd be incredible. Hey AJ, I'm very well, thank you. Hope you are as well. Good to see you again. Michael says Max for pole. Mohammed says Max. Jack says Perez. That'd be a shock. Magnussen says Fud, but seriously, Verstappen. Age is 96. Like we're 4 away from 100 likes, guys. Come on, let's get over 100. Let's get well over 100. Let's push for 200 before the end of the stream. That'd be fantastic. Nearly 900 of you here. 96 likes. Let's get some likes and sub as well if you are new. And I'll do some shout outs tomorrow when I fix the Streamlab issue. Massively appreciate the support as always. CPB says Max. Russell for surprise pole, says Tony. Why not? Leclerc. Max pole, Max Lando Sainz. My prediction is Max pole, Norris second, but tomorrow in turn 1 they collide in both DNF. Trust the car, don't overload and combined or something that was said there. Missed that. And Gasly is CPB's pick. We all secretly want a Gasly to get pole. We do. Smelly always says Alonso. That's not a comment. That is their name. Here we go. Lando Norris then. Coming to start his lap. Is he going to be first? I think he is, isn't he? Unless Russell... Has Russell just gone out? Maybe not. Magnussen is, sorry. 25.3 in the first sector for Magnussen. Obviously purple. First one to do his lap. I think that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Nick says if Checo takes pole, I'll do a $100 super chat. There you go. Go on, Checo. Yeah. I think your $100 is safe, Nick. I think it's very, very safe. I'm just trying to look here what Norris is going to do. Middle sector. So 24.9. And he's not anywhere near the middle sector. I'm looking at the wrong car. Come on, Sean. Wake up. He's just coming through turn 11 now and onto the straight. DRS wide open now. This is the big stop, isn't it, on this track? You've got a fair run to turn 1, but it's uphill, so and what an uphill as well. But yeah, bumpy through there. This is the awkward middle sector he's just coming through now. Through 13 and 14, then the what feels like a double corner at 15. It sort of is, isn't it? And then it's that I love that Turkey-esque turn 8 of 16, 17 and 18. What a corner. What a corner. Coming into 19 now. Does he keep it within track limits? That's the question. Oh, back end stepping out. Russell does a 32.974 and goes fastest on used tyres. Magnussen used tyres as well. Norris on new tyres to 32.330. So better from Norris there. But yeah, Russell Magnussen on used tyres. Perez on used tyres. Piastri goes second. 0.6 slower than his teammate. On new softs. I know Piastri doesn't have all the updates this weekend, but that is still quite a margin. Sainz slots in there, 32.652. 0.3 off Norris's time. Verstappen purple in the first sector. Slightly slower than Norris in the middle sector, interestingly enough. I did say Norris might pull something out here. Been told to trust the car on his outlap. Leclerc's gone third on a 0.4 off on a 32.740. Verstappen purple and then green 36.9 versus 36.8. This is tight. Gasly goes 6th on used tyres. Top 4 all with the new fresh sets. And Alonso as well. Is Alonso on track? He's not, is he? He's in the pit lane. Only second for Verstappen. 300 slower than Lando Norris. So game on for pole all of a sudden. Perez 8th. But that's on your used set of tyres. But still, that's still a second nearly off the pace. Yes. What's Russell saying? I don't know where we're missing compared to yesterday, says George, down in 6th place on his way back in for another fresh set. Here you go. I assume Alonso's going in the gap then, as we like to call it. So Perez a long way off pole position. What's Lando Norris done here? This is with a little bit of a mistake as well. Coming through 19, back end steps out, quick correction. So not a perfect lap, but quick enough for pole. Oh, right on the line. Quick enough for pole at the moment. Who's just lost a time? Did anyone lose a time? Perez, but that was a while ago now. It's not. Perez hasn't lost his time, just to confirm. Oh no, he has lost his time. The timings were wrong. There we go. Perez lost his time down to 9th place, but that was again on an old set of tyres, so we'll see. Del says, has Norris been sandbagging? I'd be surprised. I assume Just when, you know, it's your final run, give it everything on the table, go for it. Bit of coaching there on the outlap as well, probably help. But yeah, I wouldn't have said sandbagging, but who knows? Who knows? Here we go. The calm before the storm. Watch Perez do a quicker lap than Prime Trulli now. So CPB, yeah, why not? He could stick it a lap, couldn't he? Let's go, George, says Norsham. Kevin says Checo's going to lock down P9. CP says, come on, Checo, Sean needs new shoes. Checo announced his retirement in Mexico, says Kevin. That rumour comes around every year, doesn't it? So we shall see. We shall see. But it wouldn't be a bad thing if he's going to do it, you know. But he's pretty adamant he's going to be back next year, isn't he? So I don't know if there's any plans there, but stranger things have happened. Here we go. Here comes Fernando Alonso. 4.5 minutes to go, just about. He's going in the gap on a fresh set of soft tyres. Currently P10 in, again, what Ted says in his sprint notebook was the 9th fastest car. So Fernando Alonso doing a cracking job to get into the top 10 if that's the case. Through those twisty S's at the start of the lap as he comes to cut the beam for the first sector. 3/10 down on Norris already, but obviously personal best because it's his first lap of the top 10 shootout. On the run now to turn 11, the awkward one. Traction critical out of this corner, by the way, for tomorrow. Just if you're relatively new to F1, DRS pretty much straight after it, so need a good exit. It's a long way down to turn 12. You don't be losing time all the way down that straight. And now it's just foot to the floor and see what Fernando can do in the middle sector. 101.879 is Norris in the middle overall, which is a 36.887. No, I'm looking at Norris. He's not going to be anywhere near that. He's nowhere near that. He is way off that. 7.5 tenths, which would put him about 8th right now. What's his target? Is his target Magnussen, really? Maybe Gasly, but it's only one run for Fernando, unless he tries again, charge up and go again, but he's used the tyres now, so probably not. Love that corner. Into turn 19, and then just 20. Stays within track limits. Quite a bit on the table, actually, for Fernando. Maybe not just pushing as hard as he could, or just doesn't trust the car to push it quite that hard, I assume. Over the line he goes. Into 8th place, so 133.309. K-Mag is out on track. Russell and Gasly as well. So I assume Alonso will pit now, and then that'll be the end of that one. The uphill turn one always looks cool. It does indeed. It's unique, isn't it? So, and that's a good thing. We like unique things. So, it just looks great. I'd love to sit on that hill and watch, actually, as we watch Perez at turn 9 going wide. He was over the white line based on the onboard, so the offboard will be even more conclusive. Maybe not from that angle, though, director. I mean, really? Not really going to help us there at all, is it? Some nervous Red Bull fans there. But this is tight. Norris is back in this for the fight for pole. Yeah. I'm not reading that either. No way. It's Fernando defies time, defies logic, defies age. He's just, yeah. Pit lane incident involving Gasly noted unsafe release. We're going to see a replay here. He's going to pull out right in front of Max Verstappen, I think, and he does pull out right in front. Yeah, I guess. Verstappen did have to take evasive action, so. But that'll be a ticking off and a fine, I'd have thought, for the team. Gasly just avoided contact. Close. What happened to Hamilton says it's a back cop. Just not having not trusting the car. What did he say? Balance all over the place. Car was bad. A mistake at turn 12 as well with the lock up and wide. So just not a good lap, and he's just not at one with the car. The issues with the sprint from the sprint as well with the knocking that he had on his front are concerns. So they might be changing that. So he's talking about maybe a pit lane start. So just no pace in the car and made a mistake, really. It's not. There's nothing much more to it than that, I'm afraid. It happens, doesn't it? But here we go. Here goes Max Verstappen. Lando Norris will be... So it's Verstappen will be across the line of the front runners first. And Norris will be a little bit behind him. So here we go. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be so close. Investigate after the session for the Gasly unsafe release, by the way. They tend to look at those after the session. Here comes Verstappen. Is purple in the first sector 0.172 quicker than Lando Norris. So Norris's to beat is a 24.820. Norris comes through and does... a little bit early there, Sean. A 25.051. So Verstappen quicker, but Verstappen was... It was the middle sector, wasn't it? I seem to recall, where Verstappen lost some time to Norris. I say seem to recall, it was like 3 minutes ago. That is the checkered flag. We've got yellow. Oh, that's a crash, and that's going to end it, and they're not going to let them finish the laps because they never bloody do. And that's game over. So, yeah, it's pole for Lando Norris. And Crofty's now getting very excited because we've got a Brit on pole. As he does, it's Russell in the wall. Mr. Spatial Awareness, Sean, at turn 19 in the wall. Verstappen will have to slow down. That's the end of qualifying. Anticlimactic, but Verstappen was flying. They've not thrown the red flag, funnily enough. But nobody can get around anyway to do a lap. So there we go. Is that on an out lap for Russell? No, it can't have been. It was personal best. So no. It's pole for Norris, second for Verstappen. That's annoying because I wanted to see if that lap finish by Verstappen wasn't going to be enough, and I wanted to see if Norris could respond. So that's sort of ruined the end of qualifying. Cheers, George. He's okay, by the way. I'm not being a prick about it. He is okay. It's a shunt at turn 19. We'll see replay shortly. But Lando Norris. This is what I'm talking about with this season. I know that Max was going quicker and may well have nicked it, and Norris's first sector wasn't great, and it was looking good for Max, and he's not going to get that, so he may have got pole. But things are happening all over the place this season. McLaren were out of it. People were talking on social media. McLaren were gone. They weren't going to bounce back from this. It was Red Bull's weekend, and now, even though again he was improving, Verstappen's going to have work to do tomorrow, and Norris is in a great position. So. It's game on. That's given us a great race for tomorrow, though, hasn't it? Norris, Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc, Piastri. We'll see replay in a minute. I'll go through the order properly in a second, but Norris is on pole. Officially, 300s, 31 thousandths if you prefer, quicker than Max Verstappen. We've got Sainz in third, Leclerc fourth, and Piastri in fifth. Verstappen looks frustrated, but he knows he's got the pace tomorrow if he, to take the fight. So it's not really a Singapore situation. Knocks on wood. Is that wood? Is my desk made of wood? I suppose it is. Quite a shunt at turn 19, to be fair, for George. Here we go. We've got a replay. So I'm guessing just going to drop it like we saw with Albon with the spin yesterday. A few others wide. So he comes through 19. Oh. Trying to work. It's not a massive shunt. He's scrubbed off quite a lot of speed. It looks huge. It looks like to be massive. But then he sort of obviously scrubs off the speed as it slides and it's over the gravel and the grass and that. But enough to do some damage. But he just loses it. Is he going in a bit wide? Is he? Yeah. What do you think, chat? I was just watching the replay trying to work out what he's lost. He's not lost it on the inside curb like we saw others have hit the curb and let the back end step out. Unless I missed it. Interesting. So he's off. Yes, he's off at turn 19. He is out of the session. The session is over anyway. Yellow flag's out. Lap times wouldn't have counted even if they'd have somehow been able to go quicker. So there we go. Lando Norris on pole position for the United States Grand Prix. Verstappen second, Sainz third, Leclerc fourth. Then it's Piastri, Russell, Gasly, Alonso, Magnussen, Perez, of course, then Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Stroll, Lawson, who will get the grid drop for his penalty, for his engine penalty, Albon, Colapinto, Bottas, Hamilton in 19th and 20th for Joe. We'll go for it properly with times on that in a moment, but hit the curb before and the car was unsettled. There we go, says Kevin. So but it is an odd one. It's not, but then again, yeah, you see Albon yesterday, that 360 did that I mentioned earlier, you can lose it at that corner, so not a huge surprise, but he's okay, but it's still annoying that's ruined the end of qualifying. I thought we were being set up for something pretty epic there, actually. Verstappen was coming back. Obviously, I'm disappointed he's not on pole, but he was coming back. First sector 24.8 to Norris's 24.9 fastest, but also he was quicker by a couple of tenths in the first sector. So Max was looking good there, but second place, it's not a bad place to start. So we'll see. Again, the importance of getting your lap in your lap in first time, really, isn't it? So that's what Norris did. He got his lap in, yellow flag. There you go. It happens. It's just annoying because I thought that was going to be a great session there at the end. It was fun throughout. Some surprises along the way, as we know, but it would have been nice to have a proper shootout for pole. Yeah. So have a quick swig of my drink. Wherever it's gone, I've got, like I say, new shelves. I got it from IKEA. I am going to do the ties. I'm not going on a random ramble. Don't worry. But I've got all my F1 merch on there, and I thought I bought enough shelves, and I feel like I need about 300 more. Yeah. Here we go then. So, Lando Norris on pole position for the United States Grand Prix. Max Verstappen in second place. Norris did a 132.330. Verstappen 300ths off. Was improving was Max on his final run, but George Russell crashed on his final run, and that brought the yellow flag, which ultimately meant he had to slow down, and it was game over. So Norris got pole because of his first lap. And Norris wasn't improving, actually, just checking again on his first flying lap. Carlos Sainz in third place, 3/10 off the McLaren with Charles Leclerc, 4/10 off in fourth place. Oscar Piastri, 132.950, 6/10 off his teammate in fifth. That's a surprise. I know he's not got all the upgrades this weekend, but that's still a massive gap to your teammate. George Russell ended up sixth despite that crash, 32.974, 6.5 off. He is still at turn 19, or his car is on the track map, so he is out. We've got Pierre Gasly in 7th place, 133.018, 7/10 off. Alonso in 8th and Magnussen 9th, with Sergio Perez in 10th place. Didn't get to set his second lap, of course, because the first lap was deleted due to track limits at turn 9. Yuki Tsunoda 11th on a 133.506 with Hulkenberg. I think the surprise exit of Q2. Given the pacing at Haas this weekend. His teammate up in 9th, of course, but a 33.5 for Hulkenberg. Esteban Ocon in 13th in the McAlpine, with Stroll in 14th. Liam Lawson 15th in no time. He gave Tsunoda the tow down the back straight a couple of times. Obviously, he's got his grid penalty for all his engine components, so no point wasting laps there. May as well help your teammate. Alex Albon was knocked out in Q1, 34.051 with Colapinto on a 34.062. The first double Williams Q1 elimination since the Austrian Grand Prix earlier this year. Valtteri Bottas 18th, 134.152. Lewis Hamilton knocked out in Q1 in 19th place, 134, sorry. He'd love a 131, a 134.154. Just didn't have the car underneath him. Balance issues with the car from the sprint, talking about maybe even starting a pit lane tomorrow, so not happy with the car. And Zhou Guanyu is last on a 134.228. So that isn't your grid, because Lawson will take a drop to the back. Hamilton may take a penalty yet. We don't know. We had the pit release, the unsafe release for Gasly. That'll probably be a fine and a reprimand, but you never know with these stewards. Others might take penalties, so we'll see how we go. But that is the running order from qualifying. And I did say, and I forgot, that I was going to, if I do the right thing, someone gets it right. So qualifying final. A few people have said in the comments that there we go. It'll be a bit blurry because it's a screen grab and not a thingy, a browser source. So, but that is the actual fastest sector times for drivers. A few people saying they didn't like that the stream ran for another 15-20 minutes with the last sector times on rather than the best sector time. So there we go. If you wanted to have a look at those there, and the speed trap time as well, because I'm just that nice. Sander says Max would have taken pole if it wasn't for Russell. I think he would have done. He was fastest in the first sector, wasn't he? Norris wasn't improving. 24.9 was his fastest, but he wasn't improving. And I think he probably would have done, but he didn't. Got to get your lap in first time. Russell made the mistake, crashed the car, cost him obviously. But I think that we saw in the sprint, didn't we? The race pace is in that Red Bull. That he's in the fight. I don't expect, again, knock on wood, to see a Singapore situation tomorrow. I think Max is in it for the win. So we'll see. Look, Grandpa in 8th. There we go, Kevin. America is definitely looking for Norris. Miami, he was gifted the win by the safety car, says Nick. I forgot about Miami. Do you know what, actually? I always forget about Miami, but there you go. I love how I'm not going to read it, but yeah. Speed, yeah, I've just noticed that. Thank you, Del. 267 kilometers an hour for the Red Bull in a straight line. Not great there from Checo. That was his fastest speed trap time, but That was from obviously Q3, so maybe he didn't get his lap in, I don't know, but yeah, very, very odd. I don't know. It's funny, this sport, isn't it? It really is. This season's weird. I don't care what anyone says. This season is weird. We were talking after Canada about more domination for Red Bull, a cruise to the title. Then Max didn't win for 8 races, and then he wins the sprint today. Doesn't count, I know, in the record books as a Grand Prix win, but he might win tomorrow, and that changes things. And then we all think that he's going to run away with it in qualifying and win the race comfortably tomorrow. Then suddenly Lando Norris puts in the lap and Verstappen doesn't, and then Russell crashes, and that's throwing things around. Hamilton down in 19th when Mercedes looked so good earlier in the weekend. Ferrari looked like they were in the mix, and they were not nowhere today. They're 3rd and 4th, but a long way off the pace. It's just absolutely bonkers this season. I can't keep up with it. Obviously you all know who I want to win the championship, but I'm just saying that it's a shame that despite that, it's a shame that this didn't happen earlier in the year, so we actually had a bit more jeopardy in there. I suppose there is still jeopardy with the constructors and whatnot, but it's not that tense, is it, in the championship? Just we're hoping, clutching. Sky was so happy Max couldn't finish his lap, says Lady blah blah. I'm shocked, Lady blah blah. I could hear, I didn't hear much of Crofty all session, and then Lando suddenly had pole position, and that's all I could hear. So I know. Some people get really annoyed that their driver has to start 5 miles further behind in a 200-kilometer race. People, we just ignore them, Murray. People do. People get weirdly territorial over their F1 drivers these days. It's since it became a bit more mainstream. F1 used to be a bit niche, and people were still. Don't get me wrong. People were still territorial over their drivers, but it's more so now. It's yeah. But then let people argue, because then I can just look at the chat or look at social media and giggle as they argue for no reason. So I really hope McLaren continues this momentum next year to CPB. I hope they do, but I also hope Red Bull find their feet again, which they could be doing this weekend and for the rest of the season. I obviously hope Ferrari do, and obviously if Mercedes could too, and we kind of carry this on consistently next year rather than being so up and down, with sort of 4 teams at the front potentially up with wins or up for wins, that'd be absolutely bloody epic. I'd love that. But yeah, Checo down in P10 because he didn't get a time in lap time deleted, was on used tyres when his lap time deleted anyway, and then the yellow flag came out, and that ended his hopes of any kind of decent lap. But do I think Sergio Perez would have been troubling the top 4? No. So there you go. Quali's over. Quali is done. Grid and the sector times and lap times are on the screen now. So we're done. Norris on pole. Verstappen second. Sainz in third. Russell crashed late on. So normal quali. Proper quali. I keep calling it proper quali. The quali that actually matters. That counts for the records and that most people give a damn about. Grand Prix tomorrow. If you're in the UK, it's an 8 p.m. lights out. So 9 p.m. in Europe. And don't forget, by the way, for Mexico, I'll remind you in the preview, Mexico next week. In the UK, clocks go back an hour. So I'll give you the line. You get an extra hour in bed. Reality, you either stay up an hour later or you get up an hour earlier. I don't think I've ever had an extra hour in bed because the clock's moving. It just, yeah. Anyway, just a reminder, just to let you know. Today, Saturday sprint was earlier today. Yes, we had the sprint. That was earlier. Hey, Kaori, hope you're well. Good to see you. But yeah, that was earlier. If you haven't seen the sprint, by the way, not a line you'll hear Sean say very often, I highly recommend you go and watch it. It was actually really good. Some nervous times in there with the Ferraris, but really good race. But again, just felt too short. And now we have a rough idea when people's tyres might start falling away tomorrow and whatnot. So it takes a bit away from that. But it was a great race still. So anything like that tomorrow for the first 19 laps, very happy, definitely. I never get an extra hour in bed since I'm a slacker who spends all night playing games. I sit up all night watching Many a True Nerd, basically. Doing something terrible is what I tend to do. Any questions before we wrap up the stream, by the way, about tomorrow or what we've seen today, or about breakfast tomorrow or whatever, or today now? It has just gone midnight in the UK, so let me know. And if not, we'll call it early, but I'll keep an eye out for questions. A says, what happened to Perez in Q3? I'll let everyone know again. It's what did I say? Perez. Yes, he set a lap time on the used tyres, but then that was deleted for track limits at turn 9. Then he went out to do his lap, and George Russell crashed, which meant he had to slow down, and that was the end of that. So he didn't get his lap in the end, I suppose, is the way to look at that one. So, yeah, disappointing. But again, I don't think he'd be troubling the top 4, really. So there you go. But it is pole position for Lando Norris. A bit of a surprise, actually, given where we were. But it happens. He got a bit of fortune with Russell's crash. Russell got a lot of misfortune for having the crash. But I in some ways, I think that might give us a more interesting race tomorrow with Norris up there on pole, you know. Maybe I'm missing something, but had he been second or third, Verstappen on pole with the pace he showed, break the DRS and then manage the race, I think this might just make this a little bit interesting, certainly early on. So it might be a good thing, but obviously we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's a good grid, actually. You've got Piastri slightly out of position, really. Gasly's definitely out of position. He might go backwards. Who knows what's going to happen there? I think Hulkenberg will recover. Be great to see what Lawson does. I think there's more pace in that Williams than maybe we've seen there in qualifying. And what can Hamilton do from 19th or the pit lane or 18th or wherever he starts? So, yeah, I think that's giving us a good grid for tomorrow. What do you think Sainz would have been able to get pole today, says Omar? I don't think so. The pace, just the 1 lap pace didn't seem to be there for Ferrari. They kind of got themselves in the mix, but they always seem to end up sort of largely 2-3 tenths off. So I don't think pole was on the table. Ferrari race pace this morning, I keep saying this morning, this evening with the sprint looked pretty good. So they might be better tomorrow. So that's what I'm clinging on to anyway, Omar. That's for sure. But I'd be surprised if they'd have been the mix of poles today. Fun fact: this triple header was Kimi's last win, Austin 18, Kimi's last points finish, Mexico 21, and Kimi's last podium, Brazil 2018. There you go. That's from Pascal. Thank you, Pascal. That's a stat. So his last win was Austin, last points finish was Mexico, and last podium was Brazil. There you go. Who'll be with you for the stream tomorrow, says Lee. Stuart tomorrow. All being well. Stuart's not been well this week, so he says he should be okay for tomorrow, but bear that in mind. But it's Stuart at the moment, so I think all should be good, though. He seems okay. So, yes. Stuart tomorrow. In fact, I think, and if he's listening and I'm not confirming this, I'm sorry, Stuart, I think Stuart's been with the next 3. The next 3 races, and possibly for much of the rest of the season as well. So we'll see how things go. But I just realised how big the text is at the bottom of the stream there. It's because the overlay's changed and I've not made that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can read it. That's all that matters. Thoughts on who's going to win tomorrow, says Sam. What time does the race start over in England, says Cram. 8 p.m. for us in England, so not too bad. Not that tonight's bad. I like the late night ones. I can waffle more and I'm a bit more delirious and tired and weird, which is saying something. But yeah, so thoughts on who's going to win tomorrow. I'll tell you what, then predictions in the chat. Who's going to win it tomorrow? Yeah. Who's going to win it tomorrow? What's your top 3 if you want to go that far? Let me know. I'll do some shout-outs before we call the stream as well for your predictions. Please do drop a like as well. 139 likes, 140 likes now. So please, let's get that to 150 if we can. That'd be great. So please do drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Again, I can't do shout-outs for subs today, but I will do some tomorrow if I can fix the Streamlabs thing. If not, I definitely will next week, and we'll do lots of shout-outs there. So please do sub and like. Massively appreciated. And follow me on socials as well, at F1 Word, the F1 Word, and all that over there. I'll start putting the links to those back in the descriptions again now. So from probably tomorrow, if I remember, or in 3 months' time when I finally remember. You never know. Omar says Sainz. David has gone with Max. Nick says Norris, Verstappen, and Sainz for the top 3. Cram says Max. Come on, Lando has terrible starts on pole. Kevin says Lewis. Kaori says probably Max. Sam says money's on Max. CPB says Max as well. Fud says Sainz, Leclerc, and Norris. Omar says Sainz, Norris, and Piastri. Sander's gone Verstappen, Norris, and Sainz with Perez a surprising 4th. I tell you, he needs that, doesn't he, Sander? That wouldn't be bad for him at all. Sainz, Piastri, Gasly, says Jack. Kevin's gone with Ocon. CPB's actually gone Verstappen, Norris, and Sainz as the top 3 now. Tony, Verstappen, Russell, Piastri as the top 3. That'd be quite cool. That'd be a fun race, wouldn't it, actually? Yeah, Piastri and Russell coming back through. I'd love to see Carlos win, says A, but it's going to be Lando or Max. Tony says, I hate Ferrari. Boo. Brian says Max, Lando, and Sainz. Alice says Max for the win. Safwan says McLaren looks slower than Red Bull, so Max would have been on pole if not for Russell. Absolutely. Kaori's shocked as well. Tony. Kevin says, no, wait, Yuki will win from 11th place. If Yuki wins tomorrow from 11th place, it'll blow my mind. Or when was the last time we had a properly chaotic race and a shock win? Was it Ocon? The last proper shock win? Must be. Ocon in Hungary 21. I'm waiting for someone to yeah, I think it is Ocon, Kevin. I'm trying like in the days we used to get a Damon Hill win at Spa in 98, like a win like that shocks everybody. Johnny Herbert at the Nürburgring in 99. I think Ocon. Ricardo Monza's a good shout actually, Cram, yeah. That was 21 as well, wasn't it? So interesting. I like the cheeky answers. I'm not going to read them because it just causes trouble in the comments later, and you lot have to deal with it. You can just, I could end the stream and you can all go and get on your lives. I have to deal with the comments for hours to come. So, Gasly and Monza, yeah, that was a surprise, wasn't it? Checo at Sakir as well for Racing Force India Point, Jordan, whatever they were called at the time. That was a surprise. Dell. Lol. Yeah, Gasly at Monza. When did Lando lose the lead in the Russian Grand Prix? I suppose actually, yeah, that's a shock win because he looked like he had that one, didn't he? So I suppose even though it was Hamilton that won it was still a bit of a surprise win because he looked like he had it in the bag. So Vito says, I didn't watch how is Hamilton down in 19th. How did that happen? I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. I mean, just using his bullet points, really. Balance all over the place. Car was pretty terrible. And he's talking about the failure they had in the sprint with the tapping on the front, I think he said front right, when he was under braking. And they're talking now about maybe a pit lane start tomorrow with lots of changes. So, yeah. There's nothing dramatic. I mean, he had the lockup at turn 12, didn't he? Which put him wide, and that cost him time. But there was more to it than that. Just not happy with the car at all. Big shock there. The big shock today. Hamilton 19th. You could say Lando on pole in some ways as well as a bit of a shock. And Hulkenberg 12th for me. I thought he'd be top 10 for sure. But 12th isn't terrible. Definitely not. Sainz in Australia is a good shout. Yes, CPB. That was or Norris in Miami. If we're looking at it that way. But I mean, like, just somebody from the midfield who's got a shock win, I would say you're looking at your Ocons and your Gaslys and your Ricardos, aren't you? From that couple of years there, we had those few chaotic races. But yeah, I like the ones here. Panis, Monaco, 97. I'm just rambling now. This is just what happens on the nighttime streams. Anyone who responds to that with this is what happens on every stream, Sean, shut up. I'll not be impressed. But yeah, no. Just trying to think. Yeah, I've just gone back into history mode now, looking back through history. I just do this all the time. And by the way, I do this away from streams as well. I'll just be sat there one day and be like, when was the last time such and such happened? And then I'll sit there for 3 hours and go, oh crap, I'm supposed to be doing something. It's the way it goes. This race will be a very telling race on how Lando handles pressure and if he's able to deliver or not when it counts, says Tony. A lot of pressure on Lando. Very good point. I think Lando finishes P4, says Sam. That's quite a bold call, actually, Sam. Kevin says Sean on his 6th pint. I wish. On my sixth pint of orange and mango squash. Hell yeah. It's a Saturday night. Got to live it up a little bit. I might have a cup of tea in a bit. Whoa. Quali's done, Mario. Just finished a little while ago. We're just having a bit of a final finish, a final chat, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. But Norris on pole, Verstappen second, and Sainz in P3 for the race tomorrow. So 8 p.m. in the UK. Not sure where it is everybody else, but yeah. Sorry, it's Panis 96, wasn't it? Yeah, not 97. I mean, Barrichello 97 at Monaco was a surprise in second place. That was crazy. Eru's good, Jack. Eru's good. Thank you for asking. All good. Just trying to find. I need to find out from Multiviewer if they do live timing for testing. Otherwise, Eru's going to have to do them manually again. And then next year, apparently, we're getting 3-3-day tests. So good luck, Eru. That should be a lot of fun. The final times have ended there, so there we go. Put those ones back up for now, and we will call it there. How bad was Russell's crashes, Oliver? It looked quite dramatic from certain angles, but once the speed was scrubbed off, it wasn't too hard a hit, but it was hard enough to break the right, certainly break the right front. In fact, we're watching it now on the Sky Pass. It might show the damage, but the right front was broken. There'll be damage elsewhere as well. So like he went. It was a big spin. By the time he got to the barrier, he'd lost some of the speed, and it was I wouldn't want to hit the barrier at that speed, but for an F1 car, not horrific, let's say, but big enough to end his session and break his car. So I want to keep watching this, see as he goes round. Yeah, a lot on I don't think the rear goes in first, so that's a positive side for him. But it's really just all on the right front. Damage elsewhere, of course. But yeah, he's okay. That's the important thing there. He might even explain it now, and then we're going to wrap up. But he's doing his interview. He's not sure why it happened. It did look quite just a snap, didn't it? So it was 4.5 tenths up on his lap, apparently, so he was quick. Yeah. Nothing. He's talking about the lap time now and losing time. So there we go. Is it Pascal's birthday? Happy birthday, Pascal. There you go. Happy birthday to Pascal in the chat. It's after midnight here in the UK now, so it's my birthday today. So happy birthday, Pascal. Hopefully then, Sab will deliver a result for you, a point for your birthday tomorrow or today, whatever. You know what I mean. But yeah, happy birthday, Pascal. Have a good one. I'll let chat wish you a happy birthday as well, and then we're going to call it, I think, there. Yeah, I was going to say something that's gone. I was listening to Russell, but he's not really saying much on the crash itself. Doesn't really understand what happened there. So, but yes, I've answered the question twice. I'm not going to answer it again. Sorry, but there. Yes. Let's leave it there then. We'll wrap up the stream there rather than me waffling away for another hour. Thank you very much for tuning in. That is it for this one. As already touched on, I will be back tomorrow with the race reaction. So the race starts at 8 p.m. UK time. So an hour and a half is 9:30. So we'll be live by about 10:30, I would say. So another late night one. I've got Stuart with me, so make sure you're here for that one. Please do leave a like before you go. We got over 150, so thank you very much, everyone, for that. I appreciate it. Anyone who's not dropped a like, please do drop a like before you go. And subscribe as well, again, for the 14th time in the stream. I will do shout outs for subs once I've sorted the Streamlabs issue out, so apologies for that one, but yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that, and thank you for the support. I try my best, just waffle, I just chat. I'm just an F1 fan like you guys, and I like to just hang out with you on a Saturday. Maybe we'll do some race watch-alongs in the future as well every now, maybe not religiously, maybe every now and again, but definitely the quali ones and the race reactions as well. And of course, winners and losers on Monday if you like your videos, so make sure you are here for that, and then lots to follow because we've got 2 more races in a row after that, so cannot wait. You can follow me on social media at F1 Word or the F1 Word, wherever you are, and don't forget to give Planet F1 a follow as well, and check out Multiviewer for F1 too. They're fantastic. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until later today, goodbye.